Welcome back, everybody, to the Lost Legion. I am Adam, joined as always by Daniel. I can't get my skirmish game in for the Escalation League.
Hey
And
guys.
JR. And JR, nobody wants to play Meat Eater.
One day I'll get a worthy opponent and our battle will be legendary.
Hey guys, before we get too far in, have I told you guys that I'm about my Halloween costume yet?
No.
Oh, what you got?
No, I got it right here. Hold on. I got it right here. You ready?
Yeah.
That's my Halloween costume right there.
Yeah, that
Because
fits you.
I am salty right now. Not even gonna lie. Those of you that are listening, it is the perfect salty biatch costume. The yellow jumper, yellow shoes, the umbrella, just like the Morton Salt Lady logo. So I'm gonna rant for a minute if you guys are cool before we get into anything.
Yeah, go for it.
No, I'm not cool with it.
AMG, come on. 501st box is missing flight stands, stuff that's misprinted from like the wave one. Like, how hard is it to just simply open a file and click print? For $150, I expect better. And yes, I know to some people, $150 isn't a lot of money. But if McDonald's can get my freaking order right or replaces the items and gives me a discount on a $20 meal, AMG, you need to do better. That's my soapbox. That's my rant. I got more, but they're more later down the road.
I was really disappointed specifically by the cards. Like I don't care that much about the flight stands. I kind of get it. It's like, oh, we forgot to throw in one more set of flight stands, but they'll be able to replace that, right? You call customer service, they'll probably send you another one. But the cards, it's like, but these were right once. So why are they wrong now? Like there's no reason for that. And also, it's just going to be a difficult thing to correct. If someone shows up to a tournament with these cards, like that's going to be frustrating.
And they don't know better.
Right. And there's no reason to know better. Like these are the cards and they look right. They're just not.
The thing to me with the flight stands is it's not, they changed their policy. So it's not as simple as calling them up anymore and them shipping you flight stands. You have to return it back to your local game store. Then they have to process the refund and get the missing pieces or whatever. So, because if it was just a simple, yeah, call us up, we'll replace them. Well, like, cool, fine. Accidents happen. But then ever since AMG's released, I want to, or been taken over, I want to say at least every release, if not every other release, there's been an issue.
Was there an issue with like the Shadow Collective starter box?
I think that was the exception.
Okay.
Because the swoop bikes,
I think that's the only thing I have from them so far. So I'm like, oh, what do I have wrong? I haven't looked through all the tokens, so I don't know.
So I want to play devil's advocate because, like, I know a lot of people were talking in Discord and in our local scene were just like, AMG's messing up. They don't care about this game, right? But I want to go on in that I think I want to say they do care about the game. They just don't know how to play the game or know anything about the game. And I think we see that during their live stream that they're learning how to play this game. They're learning what this means. They're learning the meta. They're learning what all these things do. Because I feel like we haven't got any response from them. And I feel like they're not going to because they can't just come out and say like, hey guys, we're inexperienced. We're learning. Be patient with us. We made a couple mistakes. Forgive us. Because then you're pretty much telling your bots you don't know how to do your job.
Well,
And
that's obvious.
No one wants
already.
that.
That's obvious they don't know how to do their job.
But
so
you can't
look at it this way in the corporate world from Daniel and myself. I'm kind of corporate, I don't know. But if you get assigned a new project, you're not too sure how to do it, and you start messing up this bad with the returns, forgetting stuff, misprints, miscalculations. Daniel, you're a financial advisor, I believe. So, or something in finance, but you start doing
something like that.
You start doing your numbers and your numbers are wrong. And your numbers are consistently wrong. You're not going to have a job for much longer.
Yeah, and it's been kind of a long time since they've had it. Like I would get it if this was their first release, which I guess this is an early release for them, but they've had this game for a long time. So them not knowing how to play, like I learned competitively how to play in like the last 2 years, which is almost how long they've had the game.
Mhm.
So they could learn it as well as I do. It's not even my job. I just like it a lot. So I get what you're saying, JR, where they just aren't experienced with the game, but I don't think that's a great excuse at this point. It's been long enough where they should have at least one or two people who really know the game well. And if they don't, then they need to hire somebody. And that's fine. If you need to bring in an outside expert, that's fine. But you've got to do it.
Hold on, they did bring in an outside expert. They brought in LJ.
LJ is
Is
great.
he? Is he on the
LJ
team?
is great. LJ is part of the. I don't know what his official title is, but he is an official AMG representative. That's
Does
why
he
he's
get paid? Or is he
That's
just like, I
I'm
just
not
really
too
want to help
sure.
the game?
I'm
I
not too sure,
know.
but I mean, for running the forums and stuff like he does, like I'd be wanting some money.
Yeah, seriously.
So
I mean, this is one of those things where they can just sweep under the rug from their boss, right? When they ship it out, aside from all the complaints, I don't know if the bosses know about the complaints, right? Is that, oh, pack it up because we got to send product because the boss, we got to meet the deadlines. And then
Yeah.
we get it, they're messed up and everything. It's just like, I don't know, man. I'm just hoping that they get their shit together. Excuse
yeah,
my
but see, dude,
French.
that's like saying, okay, I'm a bus driver. Okay. So to me, that's like saying I don't care how many cars I hit or people I leave at the bus stops because I got to get to my time point on time.
Yeah.
But the problem here, Adam, is you're the only bus driver, and the alternative is there's no bus,
Right.
right?
And if I'm not
So
picking
it's
people
either
up, if I'm not picking people up or I'm not, or if I'm hitting cars, I'm replaced.
who says you're gonna get replaced? That's I think what I'm most afraid of.
Yeah. No, I
I'm not
agree with you
tolerating
on
the
that.
mistakes. Yeah, I'm tolerating the mistakes. I'm not happy about it. I want things to change. I want things to get better. But it's this or nothing. And I'd rather have this than nothing.
Oh,
But
for sure.
I'm not giving AMG an excuse. Like, hey, keep doing this. No, get stuff together, man. Like, this is kind of ridiculous. I get it. Marvel Protocol is your baby. I understand that. But there's a lot of people that love this game that we want to play this game and we want to have a good experience with it.
Hmm. It is easier for them because Marvel Crisis Protocol was like their game. So it's
Mhm.
very easy when you build a game from scratch to be like, yeah, of course I know how to play the game. And I know what's wrong when I put out a release. And I understand when someone's like, this should be a red and a black. It's like, oh, I get why that's a big deal. Whereas like with Legion, when it got handed to you and it was like already fairly developed, it's much harder to jump in.
Again, but
Yeah,
just to full circle, 2 years. You should have a
Yeah.
basic understanding. You should be able to open up a file that's already been saved and just click print.
well, to be fair, they're dealing with not just Star Wars Legion. You got Marvel Protocol, X-Wing, Armada. I think that's it. So they have all these games. So they had 2 years to try to learn all these games,
But
right?
they didn't have to
Aside
put
from
out anything for Armada.
Yeah, so
So
Armada doesn't count.
X-Wing, that's
And
true.
yeah, but okay, so you're handed all these games. So either go into groups. So JR, you take X-Wing, Daniel, you take Legion, I'll take Armada. Let's learn the games, let's see what's going on, and move on. Hire more people, same thing, then split them into groups. Or
Yeah, and they did
I'm
get
gonna
all
get
of
some
the
frank here.
FFG staff originally, didn't they?
Mhm.
Where the FFG
just
staff
one,
originally
Luke
moved over
Eddy.
there. Just Luke Getty.
Luke
Okay.
Eddy, yeah.
Here is my
Yeah, and then they
controversial take.
fired him.
Right.
My controversial take right here, right now. Bring back Luke Davey and Alex Davis, or Luke Eddy and Alex Davis. Bring them back.
I think it's too late. I don't think you
Oh,
can because they probably moved on to different projects.
and
Yeah.
they 100% have, but I don't know. That's my soapbox. I don't want to spend too much more time on it. Just sum it all up with AMG, get your stuff together. Because if this game dies, it's going to be because of them, not because
Yeah.
of the players.
That would be really sad because I really like this game.
Mhm.
Too. And if it does, like they lose the rights and everything, and the game stops, I feel like the community will start doing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I've been a part of communities where they've died and then like the community has to keep doing stuff and it's just not the same.
No,
That's true. That's true.
yeah, because if it dies and you lose the worlds and you lose the LVOs and
And
all
you
that.
have almost no player growth. No one's gonna join a game that's dead.
Yeah, that's true. I don't want
So-
the game to die either.
We're at a very slippery slope. I think there is still time for AMG to get it together. I think there is still time to make Star Wars Legion great again. But the ball is in AMG's court. That's where I'm at.
No, that makes sense.
All right, guys, let's talk about a tournament. Enough of soapboxing. Let's talk about the second Legions tournament out of Australia. Daniel, I believe you're the one that posted this. What caught your eye?
So I was just kind of looking for a tournament that had a good player count and posted all their lists. And so for the last week, this was the one that fit both those requirements. And when I opened it up, I was very intrigued by the winning list, and so I thought it'd be fun to talk about.
All right, what was that winning list?
So the winning list was an Imperial list. It ran an officer, one naked squad of snow troopers, two snow troopers with impact grenades and flame troopers, two heavy response storms. Oh, sorry, this is the new battle force. And then one naked speeder. And then the interesting part is it ran two ATSTs, both with the hammer pilot and mortar and link targeting array. And then one of them also had the DW3.
That is a lot of armor and hit points to chew through right there.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, I like his name, and I like it because it's Rex Savage, but he's not playing clones. It's playing Imperial.
That's a fun list to me. I don't know if I would ever take it into a tournament, but it looks like a fun list.
If I own two ATSTs, I would definitely play this. It'd be fun. Like, I don't think I'd be able to win a tournament, but I would have a fun time.
Hey guys, while I'm thinking about it, join our Discord. We have conversations going on all the time. You get to hear more about me being salty. Don't forget, we live stream every Wednesday on our Twitch. I'll throw it all up on the screen. All of our games and podcasts are up on YouTube. Again, I'll throw it up on the screen. If you have any questions or anything like that, please feel free to email us, thelostlegion559@gmail.com. Sorry, it was a good segue for a promo, guys. Some self-promo.
I like it.
Showing your terrain.
Hey, let's get to the big release, the big reveal. The IG series assassin droid. I'm just gonna go. I don't remember if we covered the cards at all. So JR, you want to go over just the IG-88 card?
Yeah, the character card.
Yeah, the character card.
So IG-88, Notorious Assassin Droid. He's an operative, 110 points. He has a training, comms, and gear slot. Armor 1, Arsenal 2, Bounty, Impervious, Sharpshooter 1. 5 health, Courage 2, rolls red defense die. He surges to crit, movement is 2. His melee is red, black, white, pierce 1. His modified E11 blaster is 1 to 3, black, white, white, pierce 1 to versatile. And then his modified DLT is 1 to 4, 2 black, blacks, and a white. Yeah. And he can only be used for Empire as of right now. And he's a mercenary.
So
Droid Trooper. Keyword
overall
Droid Trooper.
basic card I think is great. Just card has is, no upgrades. He's a good card. He's gonna be a great character.
Yep.
It'd be solid. He looks
Yeah.
a lot of fun.
So we also got his reveal cards. I'm gonna go ahead and take number 2, Daniel, if you'll take the 1 pip.
Sure.
The number 2 pip is independent programming. It's a permanent. So each time IG-88 issues an order to himself, he gains 1 aim token. He also gains independent dodge. I think that's already been spoiled before, but good. You get an order, get an aim. Don't get an order, get a dodge. Cool. Like, that's a win-win for me.
Well, it's a little bit more complicated than that because it's only if he issues an order to himself. So it's not as nice as target 1, but it's still pretty good.
Yeah.
His 1 pip is focused on the kill. This is another permanent card. It's only IG-88. While IG-88 is performing an attack against a unit that is the target of a bounty keyword, that unit cannot spend tokens. If IG-88 has wounds equal to or exceeding his wound threshold, he is not defeated until the start of his end phase.
Broken.
So this is
so broken.
Well, I don't know if it's broken. I think it's really cool. But so what makes you say it's broken, JR?
It's because a bunch of repair bots in the Empire, and then play this card turn 1, send them out there and just start shooting things, and then let them shoot back. And all you have to do, an axe or at least equaled, and you're going last. Have a guy repair him by the end of the end phase, and then as long as he has 1 wound, he can't tie for the rest of the turn. So you have an immortal unit on the board, essentially.
Well, maybe. I mean, so the trick is, LJ did recently rule that IG-88 can be overwounded when he has this card played. So if I hit him with a tank, then he's gonna have like 8 wounds you have to heal. So it doesn't really matter how many activations you have left. He's gonna die.
Well, so hold on. Let's get to LJ's post. A gentleman named R. Christopheles, I probably said that wrong. He asked simply, can IG-88 suffer additional wound tokens from attacks? Can he be repaired to 4 wounds and no longer be defeated? And if IG-88 is a target of an enemy bounty and receives additional wounds past 5 from an enemy bounty hunter, who is credited for defeating IG-88? So in other words, if Bosk gets the max wounds on IG-88, and then you follow up with the tank and get an extra 12 wounds on him, who gets credited for the kill? Do you get the bounty? So let's take the first one. We already said he can suffer additional tokens from attacks. He can additional wounds, sorry. We also said that he can be repaired all the way down back to being alive. So here is the question of the day. If IG-88 is the target of the enemy bounty and receives additional wounds past 5 from an enemy bounty hunter, does the enemy bounty hunter get the bounty?
I think so, yeah.
Dieter?
I want to say no. I'm just gonna be controversial.
I would like to say no, because if you repair them down, how do you know what wounds came from where? But according to LJ, that as long as the bounty hunter is the one that met the wound threshold, then it will still count for the bounty.
Really? So he's
Yeah, it makes sense because it's very similar to what is it? Wow, I'm blanking. the stims. It's very similar to the stims, where if someone uses their stims, then they're still gonna die to the bounty hunter.
But you only get it if he dies, right?
Yeah.
Yep. So if you get repaired back down, then forget it.
I gotcha. And the process starts over. Okay.
Yeah.
Sense.
I'll say,
yeah, that
Nope,
I was gonna say I take back what I say then. Since LJ did rule that you can have additional wounds, then yeah, it's not gonna be as OP as I thought it would be.
Yeah, I think it's a really cool effect because it does give you that opportunity to be like, oh, I can save him. Also, it means that you're never going to lose an activation with him, right? You'll never be surprised and be like, oh, he died. That sucks. That ruins my plans.
Yeah.
And
like
that's my issue. I have a little salt in this one, not as bad as what's coming up, but this is the only unit in the game. Once you kill it, it still gets to go, and thematically it makes sense. So that's not really my salt. But this is also the only unit in the game where once you kill it, it can be just repaired back to life.
You know, I honestly think this should have been on Magna Guards. It should have been a keyword, and it should have got placed on Magna Guards.
I don't know.
Because
I
even
think
though Magna
Guards
Guards are really good,
fine.
get me wrong, really good, but like thematically, that's what Magna Guards do, right? You can cut off their head and they'll still be going. But yeah, you're right. It would be
I
too
think
OP
it should
if it
just be
was
part
on
of the
Magna
Droid
Guards.
Trooper keyword. They should just all do it.
You know what? I'm with Daniel. Daniel, genius.
Droid
Tell that to
Trooper.
him. I'm gonna write them to them.
Yeah,
Well,
they don't suffer suppression. They also don't die. That's it.
You do have it from episode 1, where C-3PO gets put on his head on that droid body and the droid head on his body. So it
Yep.
works.
That's episode 2. But yeah.
I think, man, it was a stab in the dark. It's been a while since I've seen the prequels.
Bro, come on. You're supposed to be a Star Wars fan. Get it together, my man.
Look, man, look. The postquels lost me. Okay, I don't even know the last 3. We're not getting there.
Buddy.
Yeah, we're not getting there. Hey, let's talk about IG-11.
Nick.
IG-11 Nurse and Protect, still armor 1. He has Gunslinger, Impervious programmed, so you must equip a program card. Sharpshooter 1, he has I don't know, all the stuff. Programming, comms, training, and gear. Rolls red defense die, 5 health to panic, surge to crit. 4 dice on the melee, a black and 2 whites.
Surge to hit.
Or surge to hit, sorry. A black and 2 whites, pierce 1. I'm pulling an AMG and just making some typos. And then his other gun is range 1 to 4, 2 blacks and a white. Again, overall for 105 points, base, good. Movement 2, forgot to mention. Great, solid card, has is by itself.
Yep.
Yeah, like I would not be sad running this guy naked.
The one thing I would say is that this card compared to IG-88, I don't know if this was all there was. I don't know if I'd ever run IG-11. Well, I guess for Rebels, but for Empire, I think I'd always just run IG-88 because he's only 5 more points, and I like Arsenal better than Gunslinger just with this profile.
Yeah, but Gunslinger has has its advantages.
It does, but it's only throwing 3 dice.
Program card.
The program is where everything changes for me.
Yeah. So what you're saying is, if you're running them naked, you would prefer 88 over 11.
If you're just looking at these cards, which is what we saw originally, like this is what they showed us out the gate. I think IG-88 just looks a little bit better, and I don't think I would ever run IG-11. But yeah, then they have other cards.
To be honest, though, aside from looking at the program cards, running both of them is going to be solid, in my opinion.
Yes,
that's true.
So one of the program cards was spoiled, the nanny programming. When I'm building an army, you could take Grogu and you get AI dodge move. I think that's a meme card. I don't think it's gonna see a lot of play other than you just want to bring Grogu for the hand think.
It does cost 0.
Yeah, it's free. Like, why not?
So if for some reason you don't want to kill things, you just want to have an IG-11, then I guess you could use this card.
Yeah. The second one is Bounty Hunter. JR?
Yeah, this program is the icing on the cake. You gain bounty and AI aim and attack. If you choose a commander as a target of bounty, your weapons gain pierce 1. If you choose an operative as a target of a bounty, your weapons gain suppressive. Weapons, bounty is the icing on the cake for IG-1111, because you could look at your opponent's army and be like, man, they all got really low courage. I'm going to do suppressive if they have an operative. Or you could be like, they don't have much immune to pierce. I'm going to do pierce 1. And he's already got sharpshooter. I understand that he's rolling 3 dice, but he's got gunslinger, sharpshooter 1. You're about to get at least 1 through. And yeah, it's just nasty.
So not only do you have sharpshooter 1, and yes, you're rolling a black and 2 whites, you're now going to have on your modified E11, you're now going to have pierce 2. Your melee is going to be 4 red, pierce 1.
Yep.
That's almost as good as a Jedi.
Yeah, I'm in love with this card. This is a wonderful card. I think all the bounty hunters should have this.
Yeah, let's give all droids, the ability not to die, and then give all bounties this bounty programming.
Yep. Just anytime you pick a bounty, this automatically happens. Oh, so good.
Why stop there? I mean, you should be able to throw this card on your spider tanks and your snail tanks.
Yeah. Yes. What's also noting is that if you give IG 11 tenacity, he's throwing 5 reds in melee. So that's something. Pierce 1 or suppressive.
So moving on to IG-11's command cards, guys, I'm gonna take number 3, and this is my salt right here. Like, I'm generally do not like this card. So,
Cool.
it's a 3-pip anti-capture protocols. When building a command card, if your army includes IG-11, this card must be included. Okay, cool. At the end of IG-11's activation, if he has 3 or more wounds, he performs an attack with the following weapon. Blast, or sorry, 3 reds, 2 blacks. It's in melee, it looks like.
That's the self-destruct symbol.
Okay, self-destructive. So blast, impact 3, suppressive. Throw on your bounty, pierce 1, sharpshooter 1. Yeah, no, like I understand the theme of it when he walked in and he self-destructed and boom, done, good. What my issue is now is, hey, I just put on 5 wounds. Oh, great, on IG-11. My opponent going, oh great, he's going to go ahead and self-destruct. And then, oh yeah, by the way, I'm just gonna go ahead and repair him so he's not dead. Thank you. Have a nice day.
Well, this is only IG-11, and the infinite health card is only IG-88. So they're not going to work with
Okay.
each other.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm
Otherwise, that would be
still
hecka broken.
well, it's still hecka broken to me because then my other thing is he has 3 wounds. So at 3 wounds, you self-destruct, but you don't die.
You do die.
He will die.
You do die. Yeah, that's the whole point of the self-destruct thing is that you remove your motto, but you do an attack against everybody.
Well,
It's
then I
normal,
guess I'm just a
or-
noob and need to and read the rules. Jeez, guys.
Well,
you know,
it's
take my
that weird
saltiness
symbol.
away.
I hate that symbol. It should just say self-destruct or something like that. Like, I don't
Mhm.
know why they're using the symbol because it looks just like a melee attack. But
Yeah.
what that symbol means is you get to do the attack and then your guy dies. So
Can you
it's-
repair him after that?
no, he's gone.
No, because
He's
you
gone
have to
now.
remove him from the board. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know at the RRG, but I'm pretty sure you don't get sharpshooter 1 off of this because
Well, but you have blast anyways. It doesn't matter.
that's true. That's true. But yeah,
It's crazy good.
It's crazy good. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I like it a lot.
Even with my false information I just threw out there. It's crazy good. Like I'm gonna buy
Yeah,
Rebels.
if you see an IG-11 on the opposite end of your opponent's playing him, and he's got 3 wounds, make sure you're not balled up because this is gonna wreck your day.
Yeah,
Yep.
so
But it is a
goodbye.
3-pip. So if you play it and he has 3 wounds already, then you just say, biggest thing is gonna try to kill him because I don't want him to come in and blow up.
So okay, here's my question then. Let's take Agent Callus. You know you're gonna target IG-11, so next turn. So you can't play 3 pips. Does Agent Callus block this from happening?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Because you're
Or
not
if you have Han Solo and you know that it's about to happen, then you say, nah, I don't think so.
Yep.
So there's definitely a lot of play you can do around this, which is what I always look for in these kind of cards. I don't want something that's just going to overpower and is unstoppable. So I like this kind of card because you can play around it. Just don't ball up. You can see it coming, but it's awesome if it gets triggered.
dude,
So-
that hurts my heart. Has a clone player saying, "Don't ball up."
Well, that's the whole, the what's that era called? The clone era is that droids and clones are the factions that want to ball up, whereas the other one, the Civil War, they want to be more spread out.
Yep.
Mhm.
So it's more counterplay against us or the clone era than it is the Civil War.
That's true.
Let's see, Daniel, you want to take? I don't know, pick one pip, 2 pip.
I'll just do the 2-pip. So the 2-pip is a machine made for killing. This one can go for IG-11 or IG-88. You must nominate IG-11 or IG-88. The nominated IG-11 or IG-88 gains an aim token, demoralize 3, and steady. So this is a really cool card. This is also probably the way that IG-11 is going to start if he wants to get in range to do the anti-capture.
Mhm.
So he's going to start walking towards you and shooting you. scare your guys with some suppression, and then next turn he's gonna blow up. So if you see this card come out, probably next turn he's gonna blow up. So either kill him now or don't hurt him.
Yeah, yeah. What's interesting is that this is also IG-88's third card, and it's a 2-pip. So if you're running IG-8 with a combination of like Vader or somebody else, you have to choose taking either both of these or one of those 2 pips, because this does not say you can use this as another pip card like all the other ones where you get doubles.
I kind of like this one better than IG-88's 2-pip. So I think I would probably, if I had to pick one, I think I'd take this one. The
Yeah,
independent dodge is nice, but I'd rather get steady for a turn.
and
Um,
demoralize 3. Ooh.
Situational, I think.
It's true. But if I'm building my command hand, I'm probably going with this card.
Yeah. I don't know. I can make a case either way, but Demoralize 3 is awesome. That's, I mean, Vader doesn't even have Demoralize 3, and I'm more scared of Vader than I am IG-88.
That's true.
JR, 1-pip?
Yeah, so IG-88 or IG-11 loses Gunslinger. The first time IG-11 declares an attack action during his activation, instead of attacking normally, he performs 1 attack against each enemy unit at range 2, and that's the key word, at. I think this is solid. I think it's definitely situational, but like all those Clone Wars factions that want to ball up, it's just to be pretty good against them.
So I gotta be honest, there's something that scares me about this card. And by the way, the card's name is Mechanical Carnage. It's it's the second sentence. The first time IG-11 declares an attack action during its activation. So that leads me to believe that there is something coming up that is going to enable him to declare a second attack action. And hasn't been released yet, but it may be in a future expansion that there's a card that he'll be able to equip. Just that wording right there is a little scary.
Maybe. I don't know. I think AMG is not that careful with their wording, so they might have just like written it that way and not have any intention behind it. It also could just be that they're future proofing, so they don't have a plan, but they're like, just in case we do something later.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, and again, nothing's been spoiled, nothing's been released that I have seen, but just the fact that that wording's there is a little scary on an IG-11.
Yeah, I would be shocked if there was an ability that like gave IG-11 the ability to make extra attacks and it wasn't a command card, because that's usually what will give you that kind of effect. I'd be surprised if it was like all of a sudden like a gear you could take. It's like, oh, you could shoot twice now. That would be really good. I would add that to everything.
Yeah.
And so
they put that, it adds that astromech droid on a gear slot.
I just put it on my core. It's like, yeah, they're gonna shoot twice.
So the other interesting thing is the last part of it, instead of attacking normally, he performs 1 attack against each enemy unit at range 2. So what I'm interpreting that as is if I'm in melee with Vader, I'm going to use my melee attack on Vader, and then everybody else is going to get shot. So he's basically giving him versatile for the turn.
I don't know. What do you think?
The Mechanical Carnage one?
Yeah.
Because it says he performs 1 attack against each enemy at range 2. So it doesn't specify if melee or not. So if you're in melee.
It does and it doesn't, right? It says at range 2. So if you're range 1, you can't shoot them. If you're range beyond range 2, you can't be shot. So it's everything that's at range 2. Anything else you can't to make an attack against it.
Right,
Okay,
but would
so-
you be able to do the versatile where it's like if
Out
you're
of
in melee and there's
Mhm.
guys that are at range 2, can you attack them?
Yeah. If they're at range 2, I would say so.
Even though you're
Even
not
though,
melee.
but you don't have any legal weapon that can target them, because range weapons, you don't have any range weapon that's versatile. And you're locked in melee.
Oh, he
Ooh.
doesn't. No. Oh, no.
So I would
Yeah.
say probably not. I don't think this gives you versatile. I think it just gives you the option to try to attack those guys.
I was thinking of IG88. IG88.
Oh, does he have versatile?
Yeah, he has versatile. So yeah. Daniel's right. He can't if he's stuck in melee. This is a dead card if it's played.
I want to look up the.
I mean, he could always use his full action to withdraw. Oh no, because he has to use an attack action to trigger this. It's not just end of your turn.
Yeah.
No.
I don't
Yeah, I
bringing
don't
up the
know. I don't
rules
know for
questions
sure.
real
That's
quick.
just, yeah.
See
Yeah, I
if
would
it's
say
been
you can't.
posted.
So I've got a question for you guys that I just don't know off the top of my head. When it says at range 2, does that mean any part of the unit is at range 2, or does the whole unit have to be in that range 2? Like if part of the unit's at range 1, can you still do this attack? I think you can, right?
Yeah, I definitely think you can, and I think the reason why is if I'm not mistaken, whenever you're determining range, you have to determine the longest range as the actual range, because there are always instances where something's within range 3 and 4, and or a good example is the AAT.
Mhm.
Let's say you have a unit that's range 2 and 1. No, maybe it's the
So then you have to pick the
shortest.
shortest, right?
Yeah, you have to
Yeah,
pick
you have to pick the shortest.
So
The
then if
shortest.
if anything is at range 1 of you, then you can't shoot it. So it has
Right.
to be like range 2, and then the rest units could be like at range 3, and that wouldn't matter. Okay,
Right. Yeah.
So here you
I've
go,
just
guys.
like rarely run into that.
I got an answer from LJ. It's already on the discard. Already on the FAQs. Mechanical carnage while engaged. Obviously, our question: if IG-11 is engaged, can he still attack a unit at range 2? And the answer is no.
That's good. I think that's appropriate.
Yeah, I'm not too sad about that.
Yep.
Let me get back to my screen. Screens are hard. So that pretty much covers IG-11 and 88. I'm honestly considering just buying into Rebels, because I want them, and I want Din Din, which we'll get to Din Din in a minute.
Let's not lie. Let's not lie. We all know why you're buying Rebels, okay? And we
So
all
I
know
can
why
be
you got
competitive.
clones.
So I can be
No,
competitive.
Bandwagon
No.
jumper.
No, he got clones, and he's buying the Rebel for one reason only. And I don't even think he knows it,
To
but his
win.
subconscious knows it.
Oh.
Okay.
Ahsoka.
Oh,
That's
Oh.
That's why Ahsoka's gonna be for Gar and Rebels, and subconsciously, Adam reaching out is like, I need my wifey. That's
look,
what it is.
like I will throw this out on the podcast right now. I will trade my Shadow Collective for some Rebels. I'll throw it out right there.
Ooh.
That way I don't have to buy it.
The only problem is that everybody's got Shadow Collective now.
Yeah.
You should
And
at the beginning.
Ahsoka, like even if I don't buy in the Rebels, I'm buying Ahsoka. Like that's my favorite Star Wars character of all time. I mean, that's going to be, my Halloween costume next year. So
you have to wear it to tournaments. That's what you gotta
do. If it brought me the luck, I would.
You'll never know unless you try.
Right?
Hey, if someone does take you up on that offer, honestly, I bet you anything, the moment that happens, the next day the clones are gonna get buffed.
Oh,
not only that, the clones, the Rebels will get nerfed.
Yeah.
Like, actually, we're not letting Ahsoka be run with Rebels anymore. We changed our mind, and
I want it to happen so bad because it just seems like it only happened in one instance. But when Adam was playing Empire, they just weren't in a good spot. He switches over to Gar the next day, or sometime.
it's like
They
a
get
month
nerfed,
later.
and then the Empire gets buffed. Yeah, and it's just like, if this is a recurring theme, I'm just like, we could predict what's gonna happen based on where Adam goes.
the meta shifts.
Yeah.
For the record, I am keeping my Gar. I love my clones. I love them. But Shadow Collective, I'm not having as much fun with them as I thought I would. I just don't think they're really where they're at right now. It's not my.
They don't have that many options. I keep doing list building, and it's like there's like 3 lists you can do, and they're cool lists, but it's nothing like building a full faction where you have. I mean, you can do whatever you want. I really like where the factions are right now.
Yeah,
I mean, I definitely want to build a Mandalorian build with the Shadow Collective, because we haven't really seen much play with them, and they look fun.
Yeah,
but the only reason why
it doesn't
I'm
seem
in the Shadow
competitive
Collective,
they're
no,
expensive.
it looks a lot of fun. Yeah, But the only reason why I'm in the Shadow Collective in the first place is because Maul. There's a
Right.
second Maul. It's just like, why? Why wouldn't I have that?
I just finished
And-
painting my Shadow Collective Maul, so I need to bust him out at some point.
Heck
And
yeah.
thinking about it, I probably should keep my pikes. Cause for guard, they're
Nah, you
good
don't
filler.
need to. You don't need to. They're gonna buff the clones soon.
I
Or
don't,
And when I
nerf
say soon,
pikes.
they don't need to buff. They need to do one or two things. They need to buff the clones to make them worth the points, or they need to bring the points down. But we've discussed this.
Mhm.
Like, just save the clones, please, somebody. Hey, we didn't throw it in the show notes, and we kind of jumped over it real quick with this madness that is IG88. How's the escalation league coming?
it's coming good, coming along just good.
How many games do we have left until the first round's done?
We only have 2 more games left, and I believe one of those is being played today.
Yeah, I know my
Um,
brother's playing his game today.
Yeah, so the results, I got all the results and everything. We got 4 winners so far that are going on to the winner stuff, which is Omar, Jose, Daniel, our very own Daniel,
Yeah.
and our very Adam. So there, you guys are gonna be playing for the next round. Do you guys want to know the stats are on what we brought?
Yeah,
What
I
everybody
actually
brought?
really wanted
I
to see
really
if we could do the faction breakdown.
Yeah, so let me do the breakdown real quick. Because I just wrote down what I did was I wrote down what did somebody bring, like what was the main thing of their 400 army. So we have 3 Vaders at the 400 mark,
Oof.
2 Anakins,
Oh,
1 Chewie, 1 Chieftain, 1 General Grievous.
yeah,
And I
that's
can't wait to
me.
hear. Yeah, I can't wait to hear about your game, Daniel. I really want to know what happened in that game. 1 Commander Luke, 2 Swoop Bikes, and then 1 Spider. It looks like we have 2 CIS, 1 Shadow Collective, 3 Gars, 1 Rebel, or 2 Rebels, I'm sorry, and then 3 Empires. And I'm part of the Empire, but I'm really just a buy, so that's just that.
Oh,
And
okay.
then clones, I think we got 2 clones.
3 clones.
Yeah, we got 2 clones. Oh, yeah, 3 clones. You're right, 3 clones.
So I am surprised that there's only 1 Shadow Collective.
It's a cool Shadow Collective. I played it, and I am really happy I played it at 400 points. I'm not gonna lie.
Who's running
I
it?
know.
Caleb is.
Caleb is okay.
Yeah.
He's a good player.
Those I can't spoil what he's building, but man, what he's building is gonna be pretty. I want to see that played in action.
So I'm gonna just throw it out there. I have no idea what I'm building to. I
Oh,
just kind
nice.
of was like, I want to take stuff that I don't really play.
And when you say Shadow Collective, this is what we should be doing because some of these lists have the pikes in them. So it's like they're still present, just not in its own faction.
Yeah.
So let's jump into games. Daniel, how was your game?
All right. So
Right.
I got to play Caleb. We actually played last night. So we're playing the 400 points. I brought General Grievous. I've got 2 squads of B1s, and I'm using the poison cannon because I want to prove that it's not the worst thing ever. And
It's
then I brought 1 squad of Magna Guards, and I gave them offensive push and tenacity and the rocket gun, which after this game, I think I'm actually going to switch and try to do the whip because skirmish is really close. So I actually in this game never got off a shot with the rocket. So that's just a side note. But we we're playing control, so that's where there's the 1 objective in the middle. You're trying to get as many unit leaders as you can to it, and it scores round 2 to 5. We played I think it's flanking positions. It's the where you're starting in the corners, but you only get like the 1x3. And then we did limited visibility. Both of us kind of wanted limited visibility because his list is 2 squads of Black Suns. One of them has the Magdet, one of them has the Scattergun, and the Scattergun squad also has a Vigo. And then he's running a squad of Pikes. The Pikes had the Whip, and then he's running a Pike Capo. And then he's running 2 swoops. So it was like coming in, I only had 4 activations, and he had 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
Yeah,
6.
he had
Yeah.
6.
Mhm.
So I was like, oh, I didn't think anyone would have 6 activations at 400 points. And they're like meaty activations. Those Black Suns are scary. To have the scattergun, scattergun feels like that squad might be the squad to take in skirmish, just because like it's really scary. So we set up, we've got limited visibility. Both of us are kind of happy with that because we don't really want to shoot at each other. We don't want the pot shots. We want to be murdering things at range 2 because my B1s have the range 2 poison gun, and then Grievous obviously wants to just be chopping things up with the Magna Guards. So we deploy, nothing really exciting happens. We both just kind of go into our corners. And then round 1, we just are moving up. He played his card where he can give out a bunch of dodges instead of orders. And so he passed out a bunch of dodges to bikes and stuff. And I moved up my B1s, and it was basically every unit in the game did the same thing. 1 move and then standby, because that's what you do in limited visibility on skirmish. Is you don't want to get you don't want anyone else to be able to take that first shot. So we move standby, move standby. Magnus and Grievous move standby. All of his regular units move standby. The only things that can't do that is the bikes. And so the first bike comes whipping around, and it just decides to go for my squad of B1s. And so it goes in standby range. My B1 squad shoots, and this is where I get really lucky. I fire and I take out one of the 2 bikes. And when a bike squad loses 1 out of 2 of its guys, that's really rough. Like your firepower goes down pretty substantially. So then that squad shoots back. I think it killed 1 B1 because my guys were in heavy cover. So that's kind of the expected result. But it's just very disappointing to see the trade for 1 bike and 1 B1. And that was
Can I
all the
stop you right
shooting
there,
that
Daniel?
happened. Yeah,
You said the bike standby?
the bikes did not stand by. No,
Okay, sorry.
I shot the bikes
You
with my
stand by.
standby.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
got it. Okay, I was confused.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
So they whipped around, they attacked the 1 squad of B1s. The other bikes were not quite able, just because of the way that movement worked. They ended up taking all 3 actions to move, just to kind of set up and avoid the other standbys so that they can be ready next turn to like go out and kill things. So we go into round 2, and everybody is basically sitting at exactly range 2 of each other because I want Grievous to be ready to jump in and kill things. So he's sitting at exactly range outside of range 2. The Magnas are exactly outside of range 2. So it's very much, we knew turn 2 is going to just be, there's going to be blood. And so turn 2, I play, this was where I wasn't sure what to do. And I decided to play Grievous's card where he gives extra Guardian to people who have the face up order tokens. So I play that, and I give my Magnas the order. Actually, everybody in my army got orders because I gave it to my B1s and they pushed up to my Magna, and then Grievous got the other order. And I've got aggressive tactics on Grievous, so that means everyone gets a surge token. I was really happy with how that worked out in my list. And then we roll off to see who gets to go first. He gets to go first, and he goes with the really scary Black Sun squad. And they decide probably the logical thing is to step up and just try to take out Grievous because they're exactly at range 2. They can move, they can shoot, and they hit like a truck. And so he steps in, he shoots. He ends up getting 3 hits, and it's Pierce 1. And so I decide to only Guardian 1 onto my Magnus because 3 hits I was not that nervous about because I knew that next I was going to go with Grievous and he was just going to bury himself into that squad. So he would basically be safe for the rest of the turn. So I Guardian 1 onto my Magnus. They roll, they just take it. They failed the block. And then Grievous rolls, and he gets impervious because Caleb decided to push the Pierce through to Grievous. And so I roll 4 dice, and he gets 3 out of 4 saves. And so he pierces away 1, and he only deals 1 wound to Grievous. So his big shot only dealt 1 to Grievous and 1 to the Magnus. And so at that point, it's like, oh, like that was the chance to really stick it to Grievous. And now the carnage starts. And so Grievous he double moved in and sliced up I think he killed all but 3 guys in that squad. And then rest of the turn played out. The swoops went through and basically annihilated a full squad of B1s because the full swoops, they get to, if they could theoretically move over twice and then also shoot. I think they ended up moving over the other squad of B1s, and then they shot and they moved over the squad of B1s that they killed all but 1 of that guy. And then the other swoop finished off the B1 squad. So his swoops were really good against B1s. Like that's the That's the matchup I learned is really bad for me. Swoops are really good against B1s. I actually ended up, because Grievous was embedded and was already safe, I decided that I was scared of the swoops and I couldn't let them just run rampant. So I sent my Magnas back and they charged into the full swoops and smashed one of the guys. And so then now he's got 2 half swoops. And that's not nearly as threatening. We go into round 3. I play Grievous's 1-pip. He just kills a ton of stuff. He finished off the squad that he was on. He put suppression onto, he put 1 wound onto the pike commander. He put 2 suppression onto the other squad of Black Suns. And the issue with that is that those Black Suns now, they don't have any commander or anything. So they're Courage 1 units. So then when he went in return, the Black Suns, he tried to start with them, which is what you got to do, because if you get one off, that's great and you get to play them. But if you wait, then I'll shoot them again and they'll for sure panic. But he failed the roll and they panicked. So then they started running away. The Magna Guards finished off one of the bikes. Basically, the game just started collapsing because Grievous just started murdering things. The last bit was the pikes put up a pretty good fight because pikes are just really hard to kill, and they had the 2 extra red in melee. But I ended up bringing up my B1s and my Magnas, and I disengaged from them during Grievous's 1-pip turn, and so then they got shot to bits. I actually got 1 poison on them, so that felt good. I think I ended up getting 2 poison counters the whole game because the squad that was the Black Sun squad that was running, I shot with the poison gun as well, and so then they got a poison.
Nice.
Overall, not a huge fan of the poison gun still, but Grievous is real good. So he ended up conceding. I think it was near the end of turn 5. It was a really fun game. It could have gone either way. The real pivotal moment was for sure when the Black Sun shot into Grievous. If they make that shot and like put a good amount of damage, then I have to play cautious with Grievous, and that changes everything. But since I had 7 health on my Grievous, I didn't have to worry about anything, and he just carnaged his way through.
Yeah, when I saw your list and Caleb's list, I was like, this is really going to come down to is if Daniel can get Grievous in there. If not, then it's going to go the other way.
Yep.
I played David fought for the game. And I played him the week before on live stream. He brought Annie, Padme, and I believe 2 phase 1s, one with the heavy, I forget what it is. So he has out of 4 activation. I again wanted to play something I never really played, so I brought the Wookiee Chieftain. Aggressive tactics, OP tenacity. Wookiee warriors with the battle shield, OP and tenacity. 3 phase 1s with frag grenades. I do have to admit, before JR calls me out on it, I did cheat in this game, and I cheated in my next game with Omar. I got to learn to read. I played air support and failed to see that it was clone trooper. So the Wookiee chieftain cannot use air support. Honestly, in this game with David, it did not matter. I only added a suppression to 2 people, didn't really kill anything, but you know, got to rebuild my command hand now. Turn 1 was a whole lot of positioning. David, being a new player, his fatal mistake was he let me, well, he didn't really have a choice. He brought Padme out and kind of rushed Padme a little too close, so that round 2 I was able to get my melee Wookiees and charge Padme. Yeah, almost one-shotted her. It was she had 1 health left, stuck in melee. His other mistake was not realizing that Padme's dead, and he sent Anakin to go and help, which Anakin didn't really do much. Like, yeah, he killed a couple minis, but and the rest of my army just concentrated on those phase 1s, and suppression was huge for him because he kind of overextended, so he didn't have Annie's courage bubble, and then phase 1's only being 1 courage. Like, it was just bad for him. And then finally I was just like, I'm gonna take my Woofy chieftain and just bum rush to phase 1s. They went and did what they did. Ended up being at the end, at the start of round 5, he had Annie that had only 1 wound left, and 1 person from each squad on the phase 1. So just the unit leaders from each phase 1's left. He did concede, but I didn't let him we just counted it as the game ended because he went with his guy or his guys, and that was it. I saw 2 activations. And I knew with that, like, yeah, I could kill those activations, but I can't kill Annie. So we just kind of said game's over. I did not get the point for paint, which I am upset about, but honestly, this will probably be the only time I'm going to play Wookiees, so I don't really want to play Wookiee. I don't really want to paint Wookiees, so I'm okay. I was okay losing the point.
Did you not like the Wookiees? I always loved playing Wookiees.
Oh, I love them. They are fun, but outside of this escalation league, I'm practicing for LVO, and I don't know if I'm going to take Wookiees to LVO.
That's fair.
Yeah. Are you not going to paint them for the rest of the league?
Yeah, I'm just going to be out the points.
Okay.
I'm not planning on winning first place. There's a couple better players than me that I'm probably going to get stuck with.
Bro, I'm rigging it for you. Come on, man.
Giving him.
and again, it's going to come down to like I'm going to pick on Jose. We all know I love picking on Jose. Jose, from what I've seen, is kind of building into his LVO list.
Yeah, it looks like it.
And he has a whole lot of practice with that. And he has fine-tuned that to the T. And I'm just over here going, yeah, I'm gonna bring Wookiees.
So. Yeah, that's me with Grievous. I'm like, it'll be fun.
JR, you got a gaming in against Omar for the Escalation League?
Yeah. So yeah, my game was against Omar. Now the only reason why I'm playing the tournament is to prevent buys. So I am still technically a buy because Omar already won this game by default. It's just playing the game to see if he can get more points for tie breaking. So I ran Vader with Vigilance, Force Push, Saber Throw, and Burst of Speed. Dewback with Tenacity, 2 Stormtroopers, one with the portable scanner and one with the medical droid. It's 400 points. And he ran a generic commander, Chewie, squad of Wookiees, fleets with the scattergun, and then I think he did run Rebels troopers with something or nothing. I can't remember. And he had upgrades on Chewies and Wookiees as well. This was a fun game. More or less, Omar's still new to the game. He's still learning. So I thought I'd give an opportunity to show him some techniques to watch out for and to like what he can do better. I got to say for my list though, I didn't really care for Burst of Speed on Vader because in skirmish, you're already close enough that you're probably going to get there. But I still feel like I need it for rare situations where I could get there in speed 3.
Right.
But we played key positions, battle lines, and fortified positions, or the equivalent to fortified positions. So first thing first, it was just about setup. I went with the Stormtrooper, gave a dodge to Vader, then they took a move. Then my other squad just moved, took a dodge from themselves. At this time, he decided to go with his fleet troopers, and he double moved them. He wants to make good use of that scattergun, so he double moved them. And I had played turn 1 New Ways to Motivate. So by him double moving so close to me, my dewback was able to take a wound and move 3 times into the fleet troopers and just maul them. Vader then just double moves, saber throws the rebel troopers, and the Wookiee and Chewie went on top of a building. The Wookiees were moving towards the dewback to melee them. The next round, I play Vader's Might because Chewie's on top of a building. And I'm trying to remember what he played. Can't really recall right now. I wish I had. Well, you could watch the game. It's all a live stream. I forgot about that. So turn 2, I yeet Chewie off the building into melee with Vader, attack him, and then the Wookiees go into dewback, do damage against it. The dewback finishes off the fleet troopers, and then my other guys are just taking pot shots at the rebels, not really getting anything through. Turn 3, he finishes off the dewback, I killed Chewie, and then this is my implacable turn. So then I went and then killed the rebel troopers as well. So he just has the commander and the Wookiees. Turn 4, I play Master of Evil, and then I killed his commander. And then by this turn, he just takes his point for key positions, and then I take the 2 that were by me. I found out I cheated him this game too, unintentionally. My key position point was right next to the other key position point within range 1 when it's supposed to be outside of range 1 with the middle. I didn't catch it until I rewatched the stream. I was like, oh man. So yeah, so that was my bad on that part. But it was a fun game. Omar still got the win. So Omar will be going into the next round. And yeah, that's pretty much it. You can watch it on live stream or in
I did play
watch Legion
Omar.
Twitch.
I did play Omar on our second game. For our second game, just for fun. It's on the live stream as well. And I have to say, for him being such a new player, he's a great opponent. He's very fun to play against, very fun to trash talk. And we all know I love to trash talk. And he's picking it up quick, and he's definitely got the mind for it.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
one thing I loved is like he was teasing me about like, man, you're just beating me to a pulp, and he's just like, but that's okay because I'm gonna learn from this. I'm gonna get better from it. And I'm just like, dude, that's the best attitude to have when you're playing this game.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and I honestly I didn't want to go easy on him because he's gonna get the win anyways. So I
Mhm.
wanted him to be like, watch out for these tactics that people can do to you.
Especially
and-
with Vader, because Vader's a pretty tricky one to play against.
oh yeah. Once he gets in, it's just wrecking havoc on everything.
Mhm.
He did manage to shoot Vader and get 1 wound off on him, but I just was rolling really good on my red saves that game. And I always had to dodge
Loaded
the
dice.
portable scanners. Yeah,
Oh,
that's true
sorry.
too. That's true too. That's true.
Hey, I only have one rules question for you guys today, and it's mainly because of time. I had others prepared, but pulled off of the FAQs. The bounty programming upgrade will only trigger when IG-11 chooses a bounty target. Bounty programming does not trigger an additional time if another unit nominates a bounty target. Is that correct? So the way that it was worded is when a bounty is chosen. Let me bring up the actual wording again. Give me half a second. So, yep, you gain bounty and aim attack. AI aim attack, sorry. So if you choose a commander, a bounty, you get Pierce 1, choose an operative, a bounty. So you get suppressive. So if you bring in I don't know, Bosk and IG-11 and you claim a bounty, you say, hey, the bounty on Vader from Bosk, does IG-11 get Pierce 1?
I want to say that yeah, if you bring 2 people with bounty and you have IG-11 with bounty programming, whatever's if you bounty a commander and an operative, I think IG-11 gets both keywords.
Daniel?
Yeah, I'm gonna say that too, just because I really want it to be true.
So for the record, I agree with both of them. With you, with both of you, with the way the card is worded. It does not specify that it has to be IG-11. It says you. So I interpret that as you as a player when you choose bounty. According to LJ, and those of you guys that don't know, he is Talk Polite on the Discord on the rules reference and all that fun stuff. No, you don't. You on the card refers to the unit, not the player. So each unit only picks 1 target to bounty, so the effect of bounty programming can only trigger once. Which
It does make sense because at the beginning of the card it says you gain bounty. So in that context, the U right there is established to be IG-11, but
so
it makes me sad.
My complaint, again, back to more salt on AMG, I'm just going to label this episode I hate AMG, is wording. Especially, we all know Star Wars Legion, the wording is important. So most of the other wording that I can think of when it refers to you, it's you as the player.
Mm-hmm.
So on this wording, you cannot tell me it would have been too hard to say if IG-11 chooses a commander as a target, or if this unit.
you got to give him the benefit of the doubt because like wording is so hard in the context of so many language. It's just hard to always like prepare for that, in my opinion.
Right.
Yeah, you
And
don't know what people will try to do.
Yeah.
right. And to prevent that, in this case, simply put instead of saying if you, just put if IG-11.
Well,
That would be nice. It would be more straightforward for sure.
the perfect example is the ambient rifle. I'm pretty sure you can't shoot that thing in melee, but I'm really hoping you can't shoot that thing into
Oh,
melee.
hold on. Let me see. Let me bring up the FAQs. I don't remember if I saved it. There is one in there.
Yeah, he already said that you can, as
Yeah.
of right now. But see, this is where I'm confused. Like, I don't know if LJ is actually working for AMG or is if he's just speaking, like representing them like voluntarily, because this is already established. Like, oh, this is what we're gonna assume you can do because of the wording. It's not directly from AMG. Like, yeah, you can. You know, it's just that was our intent. There's no been any confirmation for that.
So we
'Cause,
are
like,
running long on time, but I do want to get to this post. Because it's a very good post about the ambient rifle. So I'm gonna do there's 6 questions. Ooh, dang, there's 6 questions. I'm gonna ask a question. You guys do it, give me an answer. Okay.
Okay.
If you are not okay, the first sentence reads: if you are not engaged, perform a speed 1 move. Then choose an enemy unit in line of sight. Does the limitation of the bolded language apply only to taking this particular action? Example: Din Djarin has to start the action not engaged, but can become engaged as part of the speed 1 move, and still gets to choose an enemy and roll the attack dice. Or does it apply as a parameter that must be met for all parts of the ability? Example: if Din becomes engaged as part of the speed 1 move, he does not continue with the rest of the ability.
I think it's just to trigger the beginning of the ability. Usually things are read from top to bottom in Legion.
JR?
Yeah, I agree with Daniel.
You're both right. He has to start not engaged. All right, question 2. At what point would an enemy unit be able to spend a standby token? Immediately after the speed 1 move, before they choose an enemy unit, or after resolution of the entire ability? So this answer would suggest that the speed 1 move during an ability is sufficient to trigger the spending of a standby token, but it's not the same scenario.
I'd have to look at wording on standby because I think standby triggers off of any action. I don't know if it triggers off of moves that are not actions.
I would say it triggers off of the move before you can like do the rest of the ability.
Okay,
You
yeah, I'll
are
agree with
right,
you.
JR. You're right. Standby can be spent after the speed X move is completed. So question 3. If the answer to 2 is the enemy can spend a standby token immediately after the speed 1 move, and the resolution of standby action defeats Din Djarin, does the remainder of the ability occur?
No.
No.
Yeah,
It's the
correct.
same
That
as
is a
with
no.
steadies and relentless.
So 4, if Din Djarin unit has included the Grogu counterpart, when resolving Din's ambient rifle's ability, can an enemy unit be chosen if it is in line of sight of the Grogu mini, but not the Din Djarin mini? So typically the ability specifically notes otherwise, line of sight abilities that are not attacks can be drawn from any mini in the unit. But this is an ability specifically granted by the upgrade, and involves a counterpart. So when doing it, can you measure LOS from Grogu?
Yes. And I think that's BS, but
Yeah, I agree. I think you can, rules is written, and I think it's not in the spirit of the card.
So rules has written you can draw the line of sight from Grogu, which is stupid.
Yeah. I mean, all they have to do is put out not even like a real errata, because the rules with with counterparts is they can't use the weapons that are attached to their original person. So if you have, all you have to do is just have a FAQ where you say that includes the weapons abilities, and then boom, Grogu can't use the weapon. I feel like that's a super easy fix that I'd love to see happen before Grogu gets used to snipe people.
Well, honestly, I feel like clarification from AEG is needed on the intent of this card because, like, this not only like my gripe is the engage and melee stuff that you could shoot into, is you could shoot at small, you could shoot at
Well,
incognito.
hey, hold on. That's question number 5. I understand that Din's ambient rifle ability is not an attack and solely requires Din to have line of sight to selected unit. Does that mean, like most other abilities, Din Djarin can select a unit that is line of sight, but otherwise could not normally be the defender of a ranged attack? Specific scenarios where this appears to be the case, but seem very unintuitive to me are A, when the only mini in the enemy unit in line of sight has a small keyword, when the enemy unit is engaged, when the enemy unit has the inconspicuous keyword, when the enemy unit has an incognito keyword, when the enemy unit is embarked in close transport, when limited visibility is in effect, and the proposed target is beyond the range, when a card effect otherwise restricts the ability to attack the chosen unit, such as Phantom Menace or Reckless Diversion, or when a card prevents Din Djarin from performing attacks, such as a Jedi or I am a Jedi.
That's yes to all of that.
Can you shoot people in closed transports? Do you have line of sight to someone in a closed transport?
Yes, because you get to use the base.
Do you use the base for line of sight? I thought you used it for range measurements.
You use it for range measurements, and this is the big thing for me, because when you're in a closed transport, technically your mini is off the board.
Right. I didn't think that
Yeah.
you could see people. Like, I thought line of sight was disrupted
But
if you're in a closed transport.
according to LJ, all those examples, you can take damage from the rifle.
So
Okay.
this is my gripe with the thing is like I get it if this card was meant to like go counter Jedis or counter people that were engaged and stuff like that,
Right.
but it just goes against so many rulings that I feel like it loses the spirit of the card. It can shoot small, incognito, inconspicuous, in close transport, which you can't even see.
In melee.
It just well, I mean, I'm gonna assume that the intent of the card was melee, right? Let's just
Right.
assume that for now. But everything else, it's a good counter to just like, oh yeah, this keyword that is supposed to be beneficial to you, nah. And it's just, I think we need an official ruling from AMG because I don't like it.
It
I
I'm
think
it
kind
does
of
too
okay
much
with
for 10
basically.
points. It does too much.
I'm okay with basically everything except for the closed transport thing. Because I mean, I get it. It's like you want him to be super sniper, so he can shoot the small guys. He can shoot the people that other people can't see. He can shoot even when there's limited visibility, right? I get all that. But then shooting someone who's inside of a vehicle, that doesn't make sense.
well,
So,
even the incognito keyword, like technically, thematically, you don't know that's an enemy. It's just a robot doing its thing.
well, but
Then it's not
once you
gonna be
get
like,
close. So if you've like got him scoped in and stuff, I kind of get where like super sniper can do that, right? It's
yeah,
not the it's
but
not the end of the world for me. If they had like specified which cases worked and which didn't, and they had that, I'd be like, oh, okay. But the truth is that we both know it was probably an accident. They didn't think about incognito because they definitely didn't think about buses, right?
oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah.
So here's the last one. Since Din's ambient rifle's ability is not an attack, is it correct to say that the wound must be assigned to a mini in the enemy in accordance with the wound's entry of the RRG, without regard to whether Din Djarin had line of sight to that particular mini being assigned the wound? I.e., can this effect cause a mini to be defeated that was completely obscured by Din Djarin by line of sight blocking terrain, such as a completely hidden second trooper in a sniper strike team?
So I think the answer is yes, and I think this is why we need a AMG ruling because intended. It just like what Daniel said, this is all unintended info.
Yep. Yeah.
And
I don't
you're
mind
right.
that he does that to snipers because I think it's cheese that snipers can do that anyways, right? So I'm okay if cheese counters cheese. The problem is when you have like just a regular squad that has a guy that's hiding around the corner. That
Well,
seems lame.
the thing of the I understand the cheese with strike teams. I think it's the cheese with strike team is fair because it's only a 2-man squad, And if you could shoot both of them right off the bat, there's no reason to take strike teams.
But this would require you to at least do 2 shots because you can only do 1 wound. So I'm okay with this kind of like limiting the capabilities of that cheese. But I'm not super happy about like, well, so what? I can't hide my extra B1 around the corner, right? Because that's more legitimate of like, this guy's just, he's not gonna pick up a sniper rifle and fight. He just is a coward and wants to hide. He shouldn't be sniped for that.
Yeah, that's true.
So overall, they're good units, gonna be overpowered, I think. Ambient rifle needs to, has is right now without any FAQs. This is the first card in game where I will say it needs to be banned.
No.
I don't
I
think
don't
it's
like ban.
actually,
Yeah.
I don't think it's actually overpowered because like all those cases, like you're not usually going to want to shoot someone in a close transport because you'll pick off 1 Black Sun unit. Usually you're going to be shooting at Jedi or whatever.
Yeah, okay, but you have Vader with 1 health left. You throw him in the latte, and oh yeah, ambient rifle says that he's dead anyways.
I'm kind of okay with that. Vader shouldn't be running away with 1 health.
Don't get me wrong. Force users, it's a good counter to force users because force users really care about every point of their health. Losing any one is just detrimental. But here's my solution. Okay, I don't like banning things. I don't like, if you bought it, you should be able to play it. I think we just make the ambient rifle 100 points. There, problem solved.
100 points. Oh my gosh. See, then that's terrible.
No, it balances out, man. It balances out.
I would just like to see a ruling clarification where wounds can only be dealt to units that you can see, right? Because that would deal with a lot of the cheese. Because then even like, well, I guess it would still work like incognito and stuff. But that would deal with enough of the cheese for me where I would say it's an okay card. I also don't think we're going to see it ruining games because it's not that strong of an ability, right? It happens 6 times per game. It's going to on average deal what, 4 or 5 wounds. So you're not going to see like a lot of like weird sniping situations. It's mostly going to be, there's the Jedi. I shot at him and I shot at him again and I shot at him 5 times this game, right? That's going to be what we'll probably see. And I'm okay. That's definitely the intent of the card. So I don't know. I don't think it's broken. I just think it's poorly worded.
Yeah. I think changing the wording, one is making it an attack action. So that way incognito small and all that takes effect. And maybe giving it, if the intent of the card was to let it shoot into melee, giving it a keyword, make it up a keyword for it.
Yeah.
Because
as much as I don't want it to be able to be shoot into melee, because that's the only thing force users have to be safe. I think, give it a keyword that helps all the rest of the stuff. If you want that to be the intent.
Or if your intent was to bring mortal wounds to the game, which this is, because you can't defend against it, make it a keyword.
Yeah, that's what I would like to see. I think, because I think the intent of the card is fine. I think ultimately we're going to see it play just fine, but it's just so confusing for no real good reason.
It's so confusing, and for 10 points,
you're always going to take it. I'm always going to take it.
I'm going to make room. I'm going to make room for it.
Yeah, it's amazing.
My hot take is that I don't think mortal wounds should ever be in a game. Like the whole point of a game is to see if you get damaged by 2 steps of attack and then a defense. Mortal wounds just ruin games because it just automatically auto include every time. There's no reason not to.
I agree and I disagree.
Force choke. Force choke is an auto mortal wound that you just so good to just choke your heavy and your squad's dead now.
But it's not in the game every game. Like it's pretty rare that I fight against force choke. It's basically just Maul and Count Dooku to take it, and some Vaders.
I think if you're gonna have mortal wounds in a game, it needs to be, you need to be paying to have mortal wounds in a game. So not 10 points, not 5 points. That is force choke. Like you want to do a mortal wound, great. That's going to be 50 points of your army.
Well, but I mean, if you look at what Mando is, he's expensive if you're just taking him to shoot the ambient rifle 6 times, right? What would that be? What is he? He is 105, so 115. You're shooting 6 times, so that's almost 20 points a shot. That's expensive. Like,
yeah, but that 20 points is what, a dead Annie?
I think that's fine. If you can pay 20 points a shot to kill Annie, Yeah.
So just bringing up Gar, 20 points a shot. So that's a dead Annie. That's a dead Rex. That's a dead Clone Commander. That's a dead Obi. That's a dead Pike Syndicate. And that's a dead Yoda.
Yep. I think it'll encourage people to bring some medics because that's going to be your counterplay now.
Mhm.
Which, yeah, I'm okay with that. There's still
You know
counterplay around it.
You know who's gonna do the medics better? The CIS, because they're so
Yeah,
cheap.
that's the problem. Because their medics are so
Yeah.
cheap.
So cheap.
All right, guys, we are running out of time. Anything else that you guys want to add?
I don't think so.
No.
Good luck to everybody in the second round. I know that we got 2 more games, but I'm excited for second round. 500 point skirmish, and it should be fun.
I will go ahead and promo us one more time, guys. Join our Facebook page. It is the Lost Legion 559. So facebook.com/the Lost Legion 559. Join our Discord. I'll throw the link on. Join our YouTube channel. This Wednesday, we will be live streaming at 5:30 from Ender's Games in Clovis. Please come out if you haven't got your escalation game in, or if you want more practice or LVO practice, or just want to hang out and meet the guys. We should all be there this Wednesday at Ender's Games in Clovis. That's all I got. Gentlemen, thank you for joining me. Everybody out in podcast land, thank you for finding the Lost Legion. You guys have a great day.